3, 2, 1. Hi! Welcome to the Amazing Book Awards. We're finally here again. It's such a shame not to be here in person. Yeah. You get to miss this, unfortunately. This is all in honour of our star host this year, which is Simon James Green. He would have been nominated with You're the One That I Want. It's definitely been a popular one for our readers. But seeing as it's Greece themed, we wanted to be Greece themed as well. So we are here as the Pink Ladies for today.
Yeah, and celebrate Simon James Green.
Yes. So this award is all about the student readers, isn't it?
Absolutely.
They're all nominated by our student readers across all the schools that participate. They vote for the finalists and they vote for the winners, and that's what's happened. We've counted all the awards, all the award votes, and we are ready to reveal that to you later. But first of all, even though we aren't meeting in person, we are still involving our student readers. And so we do have students to introduce our authors throughout tonight's proceedings. So I think we should pass over to the first one. So that's Zoe, who's going to introduce our host.
I am here to introduce the author of the greatest book that I've ever read, Simon James Green book, You're the One I Want. It was so enjoyable that I've read and reread it so many times. I don't know how anyone can not enjoy this book. It's just got something for everybody. I'm always impressed with how Simon's able to write such funny books that also have well-written characters, well-woven plots, and his books have the same effect on me, and I'm always fascinated to read a new book by him. He's guaranteed to make me laugh. I don't want to spoil the plot of You're the One I Want, but I thought I had described him properly in just a minute as so many plot twists and amazing moments in this book that I didn't know where to start. What I will say is that I love this book from the first page to last. I think everyone should grab a copy and set them by 3 leather. I am so happy to introduce the author of this book, the ultimate funny fiction writer and the host of 2022 Amazing Book Awards, Simon James Green.
Oh, well, what an absolutely lovely introduction. Thank you very much for that. That was really nice, and so nice to hear that you found the book funny. Thank you. Yes, hello everybody. I'm Simon James Green, your host for this evening. So lovely to be here. I absolutely love the Amazing Book Awards. I mean, first of all, they are about books, right? And we all love those. But they're also about YA books in particular, which is even better. And most importantly, they celebrate the best YA books as voted for by actual students themselves. And that means such a lot to us authors. Because, you know, there are quite a lot of book awards out there which are voted for by adults. And that's fine, but awards like the ABAs show us the people that we actually wrote the books for love them. And that is a really brilliant thing. Now, one of my favourite things is going into schools and meeting the young people who enjoy my books. And I think anyone can and should read YA, and you know, some of my readers are in their 80s or 90s even. But it's really lovely to connect with actual teenagers, especially when they tell you how much your book means to them. And I think everybody should get to see themselves in the pages of a book. And I'm so pleased today that we've got a short list of fab books that really cover a diverse range of themes and stories and characters. And I think it's more important than ever to celebrate and fight for those stories, because access to a really wide range of books in a school library is a fundamental right. And you know, books should be entertaining and challenging, controversial, funny, tragic, and everything in between. And I think the ABAs celebrate all of those things boldly and proudly. And I'm very honoured to be hosting them today. So let's take a look at the brilliant shortlist, shall we?
So the shortlist. Let's go to our very first student to introduce. So that is Ben. Ben is going to introduce our first author.
The Ace of Spades, an exciting crime thriller written by Farida Abika Iyamida. It is one of the books on the Abbas shortlist and has hit the book I'm here to tell you about. The book revolves around two main characters, Chiamaka, the wealthy Nigerian Italian popular head girl of Nibius High, and Devon, the less fortunate and talented musician who lives in a rougher neighbourhood. During their final year of high school, an anonymous texter known only as Aces and a conspiracy are revealed. This book is a great read and it's extremely hard to put down. Ace of Spades is Farida's first book, and she wrote it after watching Gossip Girls in her first year of university. The book originally intriguing because of the exciting front cover and blurb, and the surprising plot twists and revelations made sure I kept reading. I'm proud to present Farida.
Farida Abuke Imide is the instant New York Times international best-selling and award-winning author of Ace of Spades. She's an avid tea drinker, a collector of strange mugs, and a recent graduate from a university in the Scottish Highlands where she studied English literature. When she isn't spinning dark tales, Farida can be found examining the deeper meanings in Disney Channel original movies. She's absolutely delighted to be part of the ABA Awards tonight and is very grateful to all those of you who have read her book and have voted for her.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce Liz Kessler, the author of the brilliant When the World Was Ours. Take it away, Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz Kessler, and I'm absolutely honoured that my book, When the World Was Ours, has been chosen for the Amazing Book Award shortlist. I hope that you've all really enjoyed reading these books, and thank you for choosing me for the shortlist for this fantastic award. When the World Was Ours is a book that's actually been in the back of my mind and in my heart for a long time. It was inspired by something that happened to my dad, where basically he, due to a tiny moment where he nearly scuffed a woman's dress on a boat in Vienna when he was 4 years old. That was in 1934. As a result of that, the lady whose dress he nearly scuffed got into conversation with my grandfather. She and her husband missed their stop on the boat. My grandfather took them home. He took them for a trip around Vienna the next day, invited them home to have his wife's, my grandmother's, famous Viennese cake and sachertorte. And a little while later they sent a letter to say thank you for a lovely day. Well, 5 years later, when my family, as a Jewish family living in now Nazi-occupied Vienna, they had to leave the country and they managed to get to Czechoslovakia. But after that, the only way they could leave the country was if they had a signed statement from somebody in the country they wanted to go to say that they would take care of them. And my family didn't know anybody until my grandfather came across the letter from Gladys Jones that they received 5 years earlier. And he wrote to them and they said yes. And they managed to get my family out and they gave them a home until my dad and his parents got on their feet again. And they undoubtedly saved their lives. So this is something that I've always known about, and it's always been a part of me. And for about 10 years I wanted to write a book that was inspired by this. But the thing that I wanted to write about wasn't so much what had actually happened to my dad and his parents. It was, what if that moment had never happened? And as a writer, the words, what if, that question is probably the most important question. They're probably the most important two words, closely followed by the end. We love writing the end. But what if are such important words as a writer, because they're just, if you keep on asking what if as you write stories, you keep on creating more and more answers to this question, and it leads you wherever the story wants to take. So my question was, what if that moment had never happened? What if Gladys Jones hadn't sat next to my dad? What if my dad hadn't been kneeling on the seat looking out of the window and hadn't got anywhere near to scuffing her dress? And, you know, because we all know what happened to Jewish people under Nazi rule, the answers to those what if questions were terrible. So this was where the idea came from. And I have three characters. One of them is Leo, whose story follows what happened to my dad. Not exactly, but was inspired by my dad's story. And then we have Elsa, who was a Jewish girl who didn't have that fortunate moment. So she answers that question, what if, really. And then the third friend is Max, who's a boy whose father is a Nazi official, and we see where his journey takes him. It wasn't the easiest book I've ever written. Emotionally, it was the hardest thing I've ever written. I shed many tears while writing it. I'm sure some of you shed a few while reading it. And it's, yeah, the research was something that took me to places that, you know, were very difficult to see. But I'm so proud of this book. My dad, now 91 years old, is very proud too, and it's just a real honour to know that I've been able to do this. And that honour is multiplied by being chosen for shortlists like this. So thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed the book. I don't know if enjoyed is the right word, but I hope that it'll maybe stay with you, maybe have conversations with each other about maybe things like what you might have done in that situation, or what you have done if you've seen someone being bullied, or, you know, questions like this. And I hope that this book will be part of conversations that take place among young people for years to come. So thank you once again, and it's a real honour for me.
When I got asked what book I wanted to introduce tonight for the awards, I thought it was a no-brainer. I thoroughly enjoyed all the books on this wonderful shortlist, especially the gripping, shocking, unputdownable book by Vincent Ralph, Lock the Doors. Like a lot of the books I read, I like to go in blind, or at least knowing as little about it as possible, because that adds to the first-time reader experience. It makes it more enjoyable. I love it. But maybe I should have known what I was getting myself into, because after reading this book, I needed some time to recover. I love a book that goes exactly where you never expected it would and constantly keeps you turning the pages for more. Lock the Doors did exactly that. With twists and turns throughout, this fast-paced, secret-keeping thriller kept me on the edge of my seat with my eyes wide open and, at times, my jaw scraping the floor. I absolutely loved Lock the Doors, and it is an incredible pleasure for me to introduce the fantastic Vincent Ralph.
Hi everybody, my name is Vincent Ralph and I'm the author of Are You Watching and Lock the Doors. I'm truly honoured to be shortlisted for Lock the Doors for the Amazing Book Awards. The book itself means an awful lot to me. It's very personal on different levels. Just to tell you a little bit about the story, Lock the Doors tells the story of Tom, who is a teenager who moves into a new home with his family, and he starts to see things that he suspects might be clues to an unknown mystery. So, for example, he finds holes on the outside of doors that he thinks locks might have previously been attached to. And he finds potentially sinister messages underneath the wallpaper and carved onto the inside of his wardrobes. It isn't long before he meets the previous owners of the house, and specifically Amy, who is a teenage girl who moves to Tom's school. He befriends Amy, and on surface, everything seems absolutely fine, but Tom can't shake the feeling that something bad happened in Amy's old house, in his new home. So he starts digging a little bit further in the hope that he can solve the mystery.
We are so pleased to be able to introduce the brilliant Catherine Webber for this year's ABA Awards. I absolutely loved The Revelry, and I was so pleased when I found out it made it to the shortlist. Catherine's a fantastic writer, creating such rich words that you just want to be a part of. So, without further ado, here's Catherine.
Hi, I'm Catherine Webber, and I am the author of The Revelry, and I am so excited to be shortlisted for the Amazing Book Awards. So huge thank you to everyone who's read the book and who voted for it. I am also the author of Wing Jones, Only Love Can Break Your Heart, and Twin Crowns in the YA space, and I write young middle grade novels with my husband, as Katie sang, and those include the Sam Wu books and the Dragon Realm books. But today, I'm super excited to tell you a little bit more about The Revelry. So The Revelry is a book that took me 5 years to write. I had the initial idea, but it took me a really long time to kind of figure out how I wanted to tell the story. It is a book about two best friends, Bitsy and Amy, and a possible curse that binds them in a way that they couldn't expect. I really wanted to explore female friendship and write about how complicated and powerful and amazing it can be. So at the start of the Revelry, the two best friends sneak into a end-of-year party that is not meant for them, and then there are big repercussions. So throughout the book, we explore kind of their friendship and the idea of luck and good fortune and what would you be willing to do for your best friend. It's set in a mysterious town called Ember Grove that I really, really enjoyed getting to explore and build. And I just really hope that readers love it. The core focus of the book is female friendship. It was really fun just kind of fully exploring that and then tying in these kind of mystical, strange elements. So huge thank you. It's quite short as well. So huge thank you to everyone again who's read it, and I really hope you enjoy. Thanks.
I'm delighted to introduce the next author of my night, S.M. Wilson, with her book The Infinity Funds. I loved her previous series, The Extinction Trials, which was shortlisted in 2019. There are 3 book series from beginning to end. I saw reviews mixed between Hunger Games and Jurassic Park. I just knew it. The book that has been shortlisted this year is titled The Infinity Files. After reading the previous series, I couldn't wait for her next book to be released. The Infinity Files topped all expectations that I had, and I loved every bit of it. It looks at a futuristic world where a girl wants to become a starfighter pilot, but ends up becoming a guardian of the Infinity Files, a storage facility of incredibly important artifacts from all across the galaxy. It was great getting to see loads of different civilizations and different planets that were described so clearly you thought you were there. The second book has just been released and I'm currently reading it now. I can't wait for her to talk about it. Here she is.
Hi there, I'm S.M. Wilson and I wrote The Infinity Files. You can tell from the accent I come from Scotland. My day job's nursing and my fun job is writing young adult books. Thank you so much for nominating The Infinity Files for the Amazing Book Awards. I'm really honoured. So The Infinity Files is my space story. I am a space girl at heart. I love Star Wars, I love Star Trek, and it was a dream to write a space book. And my book's about Ash Yan, and at the very beginning of the book, Ash is a very angry person. She's lost her family, her planet has been at war with the planets around it for as long as she can remember, and she wants revenge. And Ash's revenge is to join the Star Corporation Academy, learn how to be one of their pilots, and fly into battle against some of these other planets. And she thinks she's almost done it, and then she blows it at the last minute. And she's really annoyed, but then she finds out she's got another job. She gets sent away to the library at the end of the universe, and she finds out that she's going to be the guardian of the library. This brings lots of emotions for Ash, but lots of adventures for me, because it means I got to planet hop and send Ash to planets, meet races, meet all kinds of people all over the galaxy, and I had so much fun. That's the thing about space, you can literally do anything. So that was the joy of writing a space story, sending my characters to all sorts of planets, to get up to all sorts of things and get away with it, because it's space and who knows what's out there. So thank you for nominating The Infinity Files for the Amazing Book Awards, and good luck to everyone else.
There we go, that's our shortlist.
Yeah, what a
Fantastic,
shortlist, amazing.
I think Simon's absolutely right with just how much diversity there is there. So many different genres, so many different characters, backgrounds, so much imagination.
No, it's such a good list this year. I don't know how you managed to choose a winner.
And I just want to say a big thank you to the students that introduced that. So that was Ben, first of all, then Dylan, Jeremy, Lucy and Benjamin. They were great introductions. It's always so nice to hear from the actual readers, isn't it?
Definitely.
Really nice. So we're going to take a quick look at some of the student competition entries as well. We're just going to show you the winners, because we did have quite a few entries. There's been some great, especially the cakes.
Amazing.
You wait until you see these cakes, Simon. So baked cakes based on the theme of the book, or like on the front cover. They could completely go mad with it, couldn't they?
And they didn't send any to us to it.
No, didn't get to try any.
So let's take a look at our winners. So first of all, we have the Get Caught Reading. Yes, this was just get a picture of yourself reading somewhere, maybe something interesting, a great angle, and that winner goes to Zara at St Paul's. Well done. I love that. Just through the shelf. Absolutely brilliant. Good like spy angle. We really like that. Excellent. And then the next competition, this is the Bake Off. Okay, Simon, tell us what you think of these ones. So next we have got Ace of Spades.
Look at that.
Oh, that is very good, isn't it? Look at that. Love it.
How do they do that?
Chocolate cake, do you think?
Or sticky toffee, maybe. It's quite dark, isn't it?
It looks delicious, whatever it is.
Well done, Daisy. That looks fantastic. Which one's next?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's impressive.
Very good.
They've literally recreated that front cover. That's great. Well done, Alice, When the World Was Ours.
Yeah, that's really good. That's an impressive bit of icing.
Yeah, a lot of detail there. Next we have...
Oh, wow.
Another recreation.
Yes. That's excellent. That's a really good one, isn't it? That cake looks deliciously moist as well, may I say.
Yeah. I think we need to ask for tasting bits though next time. Send us a slice just so we can.
So well done, Heather. That's your prize is on its way.
Oh, isn't that fab? That's awesome. Well done, Izzy. That's great.
That's really great. Well done. And is there one more? Infinity.
That's really clever.
Well
That's
done.
brilliant.
Is that thousands?
Hundreds of thousands. I reckon it must be.
Wow.
Space helmet.
Yeah,
that's really
good.
And I like
Really
the
good.
infinity symbol as well.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Very good. Right. Okay. And the last round, I think that's the book cover redesigns.
Oh, yeah.
So giving them a chance to show their artistic flair. So what have we got up first? Oh, nice. Classic keeping with the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well done, Susie. Ah, that's bringing in the wheel that goes on at first.
Yeah, that is clever.
The other cover design actually is like that, isn't it? It's got the full wheel on it.
Yeah.
Good call. Well done.
That's really
Nick.
good.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That's nice. I like that's very bold. I like it.
Yeah, that does stand out, doesn't it? Well done, Zara.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's the fire in the room. Yes, very good.
That looks excellent. Well
Yeah,
done.
that's good.
Ralph.
I would definitely read that based on the cover.
Yeah, that'll make you pick it up. And last but not least, the infinite. Oh, yes. I love
Yeah, that's really good. That's so atmospheric.
that font is really good choice as well, isn't it? Nice and sci-fi.
Yeah, and that background is fantastic.
I love the fonts they've chosen. They're brilliant.
It's very much, I think we may have some future book cover designers
Absolutely.
here.
Excellent. Well done. So that's our winners. If you've seen your name up there, we will be sending out some prizes to your schools. Don't worry, we know where you are, so we can send those out to you and make sure you get some ABA goodies. Well done. Right, so that leads us to the read aloud part, where we get some videos of the authors reading segments of their books. We're just going to go straight through them. So we're going to start with Farida.
I'm hungry now. I want some of those cakes.
Hello, my name is Farida Abike Iyemide, and I am here today to read from Ace of Spades, which is my debut novel. Chapter 1, Devon. Monday. Birthday Black Assemblies are the most pointless practice ever, and that's saying a lot, seeing as Nibius Academy is a school that runs on pointlessness. We are seated in Lion Hall, named after one of those donors who give money to private schools that don't need it, waiting for the principal to arrive and deliver his speech in the usual order. Welcome back for another year. Glad you didn't die this summer. Here are your senior prefects and head prefect. School values, thin. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for structure. Ask any of my friends. Correction, friend. I'm pretty sure that even though I've been here for almost 4 years, no one else knows I exist. Just Jack, who generally acts like there's something seriously wrong with me. Still, I call him a friend because we've known each other forever, and the thought of being alone is much, much worse. But back to the thing about structure. I'm a fan. Jack knows about the many rituals I go through before I sit down at the piano. Without them, I don't play as well. That's the difference between my rituals and these assemblies. Without these, life at Nibius would still be an endless drudge of gossip, money, and lies. The microphone screeches loudly, forcing my head up. 20 minutes of my life about to be wasted on an assembly that could have been an email. I lean back against my chair as a tall, pale guy with dull black eyes, oily black hair slicked back with what I'm sure was an entire jar of hair gel, and a long dark coat that almost sweeps the floor, stands at the podium, staring down at us all like we're vermin and he's a cat. My name is Mr. Ward, but you must all address me as Headmaster Ward, the cat says, voice liquid and slithery. I squint at him. What the hell happened to Headmaster Collins? The room is filled with confused whispers and unimpressed faces. As I'm sure some of you are aware, Headmaster Collins resigned just before summer break, and I'm here to lead you all through your final year at Nibius Academy. The cat finishes, his lips pursed. So the rumors were true, someone whispers nearby. Seems like it. I hear rehab is super classy these days, though. I hadn't even heard anything was wrong with Headmaster Collins. He seemed fine before summer. Sometimes I feel like I'm so lost in my own world, I don't notice the things that seem so obvious to everyone else. And so, Headmaster Ward's voice booms over everyone else's. We keep within the Nibius tradition, starting today's assembly with the senior prefect and head prefect announcements. He swivels expectantly as one stiffly suited teacher rushes forward and hands him a cream-coloured envelope. Silently, Headmaster Ward opens it. The papers crinkle amplified to a blaring shriek through the speakers. He removes a small card and places the envelope on the podium in front of him. I start to zone out. Our 4 senior prefects are... He pauses, his pupils flicking back and forth like black flies trapped in a jar. Miss Celia Wright, Mr. Maxwell Jacobson, Miss Ruby Ainsworth, and Mr. Devon Richards.
I'm going to read a couple of pages from the book. It's quite a tough scene, this, but it was a real turning point for Leo, and quite an important moment in what happened to the Jews in Vienna. So this has been told from Leo's point of view. I made my way through the city, blowing on my hands to keep warm as I walked through the cobbled streets. As I neared the Stephansplatz, I heard a noise up ahead. There was a crowd of people pushing and jostling each other as they cheered and laughed. As I got closer, I recognised a few of Papa's friends amongst the crowd. They were all there in their big coats and their black hats, laughing at something in the middle of the group. The crowd was too big to see through to the centre, so I wriggled between the men until I got to the front. I would have given everything I had to change what I saw. I would have walked out of school in shame 100 times over to make it not be real. There were 3 men on the ground, kneeling in muddy puddles, arms out in front of them. It took a second for me to realise they were scrubbing the pavement. It took another second to see that one of the men was my father. I felt like a cannonball had been hurled at my stomach. I clutched my mouth. I could taste sick in my throat. "Harder!" a man opposite shouted in a familiar voice. I looked up. Surely not. It was Mr. Fisher, Max's father. He was wearing a uniform with a white armband on it. The armband had a shape I'd been seeing a lot lately, a swastika. Mr. Fisher bent down towards Papa. A bit of spit sprayed from his mouth as he shouted again. I said, "Harder!" My father looked up at him with pleading eyes from where he knelt in the puddle. Papa, the man everyone loved, the man who could make anyone smile, who would do anything for anyone. My larger-than-life Papa, still in his smart suit and waistcoat, was kneeling in a puddle with a scrubbing brush in his hand. "I cannot scrub harder, sir," he said. Mr. Fisher took a step forward. "Maybe this will help," he said. And then he kicked my father in the stomach so hard that Papa fell forward, his face landing in the puddle. "Papa!" I yelped as the crowd roared with laughter. From the ground, Papa turned his head in my direction. His white, terrified eyes met mine. His lips moved silently. "Go," he mouthed, before kneeling again and resuming his scrubbing. thought of leaving him horrified me, but the thought of staying terrified me more, so I did what he'd said. I ran through the square and along the cobbled streets until I could no longer hear the crowds baying and jeering. And then in the quiet of a deserted street, I leaned across a wall. I leaned against the wall and retched, over and over, until my throat burned and my stomach cramped. Even so, the pain was nothing compared to the ache in my heart.
This is just a very short reading from Lock the Doors. I had to pick apart where it wouldn't give away any spoilers or potential spoilers, so this is very near the beginning. 4 tiny holes in my new bedroom door. That's the first thing I noticed. And then a bigger one on the frame, flaking at the edges, and a curve where the dark wood turns light. A crescent just deep enough for a bolt to slide back and forth. My stepsister's door has 8 holes. Each set of 4 are not quite level, as if whoever drilled them was fixing a mistake. I hunt for holes and find them everywhere, except for Mum and Jay's room. Their door is perfect, the frame untouched. And that's when I realised what happened here. Our dream home, the house Mum fell in love with the moment she saw it, was someone else's nightmare. Because these holes aren't where you'd expect them to be. The locks weren't on the inside to keep people out. They were on the outside, keeping someone in.
Hi, I'm Catherine Weber, the author of The Revelry, and I am very excited to be shortlisted for the Amazing Book Awards and very excited to do a short reading from the book. Chapter 1. I am a girl from Ember Grove, and these are my woods. I grew up with the dark woods as my playground. Hide and seek among the trees, play pretend on the lake shore. I know every root and bramble, thorn and stone. But there are parts of the woods I would never go to alone. Tonight is different. Tonight is the revelry. Tonight, the woods are ours for the taking. The revelry is more than a party. The revelry can change your entire future. Ember Grove is a town fueled by rumors and superstition, local myth and half-forgotten fables, and the revelry is the most important of them all. A night to change your destiny. To find out if Ember Grove will let you go or keep hold of you forever. Not me. I, Bitsy Clark, am going to get out of Ember Grove, like my brother Harvey did. He's at Cobalt University down the coast. We don't hear from him much. When people leave, they don't tend to come back, even to visit. But I think he's happy down at Cobalt. Who wouldn't be happier away from our small town, where secrets and success battle for space, where the woods listen to every whisper, where one party can change everything. The events of each revelry are a closely guarded secret kept between that year's attendees. Nobody talks about their revelry. There are no photos, no official guest lists, no proof of anything that happens. Of course, whispers slither out, rumors spread, and stories from revelries gone by turn to local legend. Like one year, supposedly, flowers bloom between kissing couples all night long, and then everyone started to believe that when you have your first kiss, and it's with someone who likes, something green will grow. Amy agonized over this one because she lived in an apartment with no green space at all. But then, and I'm telling the truth, the week after she kissed Mark Lee during Spin the Bottle, a little dandelion sprout appeared on her windowsill, a revelry rule that spilled out into town and lasted longer than one night. It happens all the time. The revelry is meant to be just for the graduating high school class, no exceptions. It happens every year, almost by magic, all the adults turning the other way, as if it's not for them to worry about. Everyone in town knows when it is, and even though there are whispers of what could happen, what has happened in years past, and what will happen, nobody tries to stop it. Trying to stop the revelry would be like trying to stop the seasons from changing. It's just as much a part of Ember Grove as the woods themselves. It isn't my year. I'm 16 and shouldn't be going for another 2 summers. Apparently, Amy has other plans.
So this part of the book is at the beginning, and it's just as Ash is sitting her test to try and become a starfighter pilot. Ash flicked her switch again and heard something else above the crackle coming from the Attila, something that made panic swell in her chest. Mayday, mayday, shields are failing, request assistance. The rest of the dialogue was lost in a hiss. Ash was sure she'd heard more voices in the background. She responded immediately. Cargo vessel Attila, what assistance do you require? She was trying not to freak out, thinking about the capacity of that vessel. What would she do if they requested emergency transport? Ash spoke before they had time to answer. I can tether you, tow you back to the nearest spaceport. Negative, there's no time. She struggled to turn again and see behind her, desperately trying to figure how much space there actually was in a single-seat fighter. Could she possibly cram any people in here? Her stomach plummeted as a thought filled her mind. What if there were children in the cargo vessel? Could she squash some kids in behind her? Her alarms were still sounding. One of the orange lights flicked to red. Too many things were happening at once. Anger bubbled inside her. She'd run 1,000 practice scenarios, and every single one she'd been methodical, logical. She'd weighed up complicated situations in less than a few seconds and acted without hesitation. But none of them had been real, and that was the difference. This felt real. She could practically hear the heartbeat of the captain of the cargo vessel through the comm. He was a living, breathing person. Practice sessions involved theory, not reality. None of the other vessels in the final test should be manned by actual people. The only people in space should be the cadets. Systems failing, came the crackle. No time. How many people do you have on board? Do you have transport technology? I'm a single-seat fighter. I'm not sure how many I can hold. She couldn't remember any scenario where extra people had been transported aboard a single-seat fighter. Fear was starting to grip Ash. Her heart missed a few beats inside her chest. The comm crackled. Most of the words were lost. Transporting now. The air shifted in front of her, just above her eyes, as whatever the freighter was beaming over began to materialise. The recognition was instant. It was far too small to be a person. A second later, a brown package appeared in the air before her face. What? The dark space outside lit up as the cargo vessel exploded into 1,000,000 fragments right next to her. The shockwave pounded off her smaller craft and sent her rocking and rolling around. She choked and spluttered, doing her best not to vomit. The fighter was showered with debris and a stuttering voice cut in through the mess. Tethering now. Her fighter gave a shudder as an emergency tether from Ezra's craft clamped onto her tail and yanked her backwards. Ezra didn't normally stutter. He sounded as shocked as she was. This was a training exercise, or it was meant to be. What had just happened? More debris kept hitting the nose of her fighter as it was pulled away. She winced. Every light in her panel was now red. Her fuel tank was empty, her oxygen tank almost the same. She grabbed for the emergency supply under her seat and clapped the mask to her face. Not that it would be much use for long. Her mind finally started to go into automatic pilot mode. She flicked all power to the shields. The damage to her craft must be extreme. She didn't have the view that Ezra did, but why else would he tether her? With no gravity to keep it anchored in place, the package bounced off the side of her head. She'd momentarily forgot about it in the shock of the explosion. Commander Clay's voice cut across the airwaves. Flight Cadet Yang, prepare for emergency transport. What? No, reality hit. Her craft was too badly damaged. Her test was well and truly over. She reached out and made a grab for the package that the captain of the Attila had thought more important than any life on board his vessel. None of this was supposed to happen. Her body twitched as the transporter took hold, the shimmering sensation like a billion little insects crawling over her skin started, she automatically sucked in a breath, even though it was entirely unnecessary, closed her eyes and prayed.
And we're really happy to welcome the finalist authors to the screens with us today. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Happy ABAs. So great to see you all. We are going to start with the big bit now.
Yes, we are ready.
So we're going to first of all reveal the runners-up because we have a bronze, silver and gold awards here. So we're going to be sharing those with you. Simon has the gold envelopes, don't you, Simon?
I do have the envelopes for bronze, silver and gold in front of me. Yes, very exciting. I've not even opened them yet because I want to share the excitement with everybody.
So good. I would have been.
Yeah, I would have opened those straight away.
Under the kettle. Or in the kettle. Steamed it open.
You know, you stuck them with something really strong, gorilla tape or something.
Yeah, I know, Rachel, she'd have done that, definitely.
I think I signed the seal. So I didn't know if it was broken.
Okay, so the runners-up, would you like to?
No, go on, you go for it.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so the runners-up, that goes to the Revelry and Ace of Spades. Congratulations.
It was so close. The voting was
very
so
close.
close. Like 5 or 6 points in it in some cases. It was amazing.
They're absolutely brilliant. They're such great books, and our readers are still enjoying them. So
They
we
are
can't
flying
wait to-
off the shelves.
I
We
can't keep them
cannot
on the
keep your
shelves.
books on there, no. And we've got waiting lists constantly for all of your books.
I'm sure that's the same at the other schools as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Simon, are you ready to reveal our bronze winner?
Oh yes, I'm ready to reveal the bronze winner, and here is the envelope which I'm opening live on screen. Here we go. So this is the bronze winner of the ABAs, and it is bronze, yes. Bronze goes to, the Infinity Files by S.M. Wilson. Congratulations.
So this beautiful little award will be winging its way to you in the post very shortly. Congratulations.
Well done.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm just glad that everyone loved A Wee Space Story as much as I loved writing it, because I had so much fun. I'm such a Star Wars and Star Trek fan, and I'm still living in the hope that one day I'll get to appear in a Star Trek episode. Yes, I'm delusional, but I just love space and I love everything about it, and that's my dream. And my wee dog Max is jumping about here. Here he's here to say hello. It's honestly.
Clock. I've seen that on Twitter. Your book clock is gorgeous. What a thing. It's all of her previous books.
Oh,
So
wow.
good.
That's cool.
Oh, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. So then, Simon, back to you for the silver envelope, please.
Here we have the silver envelope, everybody, which I'm opening live on screen. Very exciting. It's really hotting up now. Okay, all right, here we are. Who is it going to be? Okay. This is silver. Oh, and it goes to, the silver ABA goes to Lock the Doors by Vincent Ralph. Congratulations. Hooray.
Oh, thank you so much. This book is incredibly important to me on lots of different levels, personal levels, professional levels. So yeah, I'm just really pleased that so many people that voted for it and that people enjoyed it. And thank you to every single person who picked the book up, because as a writer, you spend a lot of your time sitting in a room, as I am now, not really knowing whether or not your book is going to be well received, who's going to pick it up, what they're going to think of it. So events like this are incredibly important. So thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who organises this as well. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well
I
done.
loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And so, for the final envelope, Simon, I don't think there's so much mystery in this one.
No, I know. Yeah, by the process of elimination, I might be able to guess, but we might have a curveball here. I don't know.
Open the envelope anyway. And
I think we definitely should. So here we go. This is gold. Yes, indeed. Okay, and lovely. So the gold winner of the ABAs this year is When the World Was Ours by Liz Kessler. Yay! Congratulations, Liz. Hooray.
Oh, I'm at my mum's and she's sitting in the corner and she just went, you! And I was like, yeah, me. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm absolutely, sorry. I'm overwhelmed. I tell you what, there's nothing that means as much as the young people themselves voting for your book. No offense to the librarians, can't even say the word, because you are probably the second most important people, because we love librarians. You're the ones that put the books into the hands of the young people. But to think that, you know, young people have put us on a shortlist and have chosen my book, I'm overwhelmed. I'm absolutely thrilled to bits. I'm shocked, stunned, and very, very happy. And even wearing the right colour top to go with the pink ladies. So maybe sort of be one of you, but oh my gosh, thank you so much. Honestly, I can't tell you how much it means to me. This book is it was the most emotional thing I've ever done, writing this book, in terms of anything that I've ever written. It took the most out of me. It's the most personal. It means more to me than anything I've done in my career. So to get this means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Huge congratulations.
I've never had a book like it. I've never had a book that has never come back in. It comes back in and is immediately taken out of someone else's hand to go straight back out again. It's just such a beautiful book. It's a story that needed to be told.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, as is with all of these, is that they're so different and there's so much going on with all of them. Ace of Spades, our readers want to see as a movie. They are desperate to see it as a movie.
My students are queuing up Netflix and they're saying they're already writing their wish list of characters and who's going to play each character. And yeah.
And we're going to share some photos because we had one of our students design some jewellery for the Revelry. We're going to put that up on Twitter later as well.
So you can see,
amazing. Really incredible, really incredible. So what you've inspired in our readers, not just our readers from our schools, but across the board at the ABA schools, is huge. And you could see that in the number of votes that came in from the readers too. We love getting to share this with the readers. It is a shame not to have that connection with them in in-person events
next year,
and getting to see them get their book signed by you, their little faces when they meet you. It really shows us what we're doing is so important, and what you do is just incredible. So thank you so much, all of our fabulous authors. Simon, our host,
thank you so much.
Simon. Yeah, thank you so much.
As always.
You inspire us. It's all
fantastic. Do we need to dress up for When the World Was Ours next year?
Maybe we do. Yeah. Maybe we do. Okay. Yes. So thinking of next year, Liz, we would like to invite you potentially. So we'll see whether you're available on the dates. We are looking at, I think it's 16th of June, but we'll be in contact with all of you with thanks and prizes.
And goodie bags. Some goodie bags on their way to you as well.
Goodie bags on the way to everybody. And to the students who introduced all of the authors and the prize winners. Prizes for everyone. You all get a prize.
Everyone gets a Brucey bonus.
But thank you so much for sharing your time with us this evening, and we can't wait to read your next book, see what next comes out, and thank you.
You're always welcome at the ABAs.
Thank you so much. Congrats, Liz.
Thank
you,
Liz. Thank you,
everyone.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Feel free to log out and we will be in touch with goodies for you, probably send through publishers, but thank you so much.
Is that stuff?
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.